What's up everyone? In this video we're going to talk about Bitcoin. We did see some inflows yesterday despite the type of day we saw. We also have an article mentioning the incoming golden cross. I'll show you how close we are to it. It is right around the corner within days. I also want to talk about Cardano. We do have some pretty big news there. I want to show you guys the chart as well, show you what I'm looking for. And let's get started. Now, first off, Bitcoin inflows. We saw 192 million as Bitcoin worked on rebounding from 65K. IBIT. 317 million in inflows there, and this is actually the fourth time in 6 trading days that they've brought in over 300 million in inflows, and this has brought their total net inflows to over 23 billion dollars. Now, we did see some outflows, 129 million worth of outflows. Overall, the big picture, we saw inflows on that day. So in general, we are still continuing to see these inflows day after day after day. Monday, we did see an outflow day, but besides that, we have been in a pretty nice streak so far. And I do think IBIT by the end of this year will probably be getting near $30 billion in assets under management. And these Bitcoin ETFs are so close to having 1 million Bitcoin. Imagine where we are in a few years from now. This is just the beginning still. We also have an article finally talking about this golden cross. And basically the whole point, what is a golden cross? What is the meaning behind it? Well, the pattern indicates that the short-term price momentum is outperforming the long-term, meaning that short-term has been running up, starting to regain at the average of the long term, basically. Keep in mind, however, this is a lagging signal. It is basically showing you past data, but there is still at times a reaction from it, a huge positive reaction. And the whole point of a golden cross is you see that the momentum is growing. You see that we are starting a new bull trend. And this screen here shows that the last golden cross we saw was actually back in October of 2023, where we basically rallied from like 30 something thousand all the way to, 49K before the spot ETFs went live, and we saw that little short-term buy the rumor, sell the news event. People said it was the end of the world, it's over. Bitcoin dropped a little more and then rallied to new all-time highs, never seen before in history. And yes, another golden cross is literally right around the corner, in my opinion, only days away. And we are so close. The other day I told you guys they were about 1,000 away. Now they're roughly like 700 points away from each other. But this is coming, this golden cross. I also wanted to show you guys this yellow ascending support. If we come down in, sometime in November, potentially maybe mid-November, I want to see us bounce over this. We might get a reaction, a negative reaction if we break it. We have bounced off of it 2 times. This might be kind of the trend we start to follow for a little while. If we have that type of Q4 I'm expecting, I want to see this yellow trend line hold up. Now, we did pull back a little bit. We came down, tested our previous cycle high. This 69K was the last cycle high back in 2021. We did come down after testing it. We came to test our descending trend, this descending channel we've been in, descending broadening wedge, some people have been calling it. But anyways, this is descending resistance. We did come down and test it. We broke through it very briefly, basically tested 65K before quickly recovering, quickly coming back up. We did not get a candle to close inside this pattern. That is a good sign. And next, what I want to see is a candle to close above that 69K pattern. Maybe once this golden cross flashes, we get a little short-term hype, short-term euphoria, a little excitement. Maybe this is what kicks off that bull run. Maybe this is what gets us to close that candle over 69K. And then we can go on and test 74K. And then it's just a matter of breaking that and we go parabolic, in my opinion. Now, all these bearish divergences I showed you the other day on the 4-hour brought us down. We were seeing bearish divergence here while the RSI was actually going down. The price was still trying to rise. What are we seeing now? We're actually seeing some, did I say bullish divergence? I meant bearish. If I said bearish, my bad. I might have a fun time editing this. Anyways, we are looking at now some bullish divergence on the 1 hour. You'll notice that we actually bottomed out on the RSI back here. You see the bottom there? And we kind of recovered. We had a higher low on the RSI, but we saw a lower low on the price. And Bitcoin did quickly bounce up. This might be the reaction from that, but that's the positive we want to see. We want to see these bullish divergences as we head lower, showing that the buyers are stepping in. We want these supports to just quickly be bounced off of, not like a long consolidation stuck at them. We want to see that the buyers are stepping in, quickly buying it up every time it comes down and tests certain supports. And that is what we've been seeing. But zooming out a bit, you'll see that, on the monthly, on the big picture, we are in this massive bull flag. I mean, this is a textbook bull flag, in my opinion. And it is a matter of breaking out of this trend on shorter term time frames first, obviously. But it does look like on the weekly we're attempting to break out. It would be very nice to see this candle, this October candle, close out of it It does look like we will do so as long as we don't see a substantial drop back into the pattern. So far so good. And like I showed you on the daily, guys, we already broke out of this descending trend, tried to test that last cycle peak, and we got rejected there. I do think we're going to come and retest that last cycle peak. Could be any day. It could be literally tomorrow. Whether it's tomorrow or not, it is going to happen very soon. In my opinion, we are going to break out, and once we do, buckle up, because it's going to get very fun. Now, as for this Cardano news, this is kind of interesting. I thought this was noteworthy. Cardano unlocks a $1.3 trillion Bitcoin liquidity, basically Bitcoin's market cap. This Bitcoin OS bridge integration allows them to do so. Now, a lot of this goes over my head. My small brain doesn't comprehend half of this stuff, but basically this allows Bitcoin transactions and assets to be bridged onto Cardano's blockchain, which benefits Cardano's DeFi. And Ken Kodama, the CEO of Emergo, which is basically the company that is working behind Cardano, so obviously he's incentivized to say this, but I digress. This integration has the potential to unlock new cross-chain capabilities, and it could further strengthen Cardano by opening access to the Layer 1 blockchain's users, projects, and developers to a secure and trustless path to Bitcoin. I will leave that article. Everything I go over will be down below for you guys. I didn't go over every little detail there. But how is this affecting Cardano today in terms of news? It is not really affecting it at all. One thing I'm watching with Cardano, let me show you a couple things that are interesting. So first off, on the weekly, the 50 MA on the weekly is something that does get reacted to. First off, we are way far away from it, but when we come up to it, we will likely test it. It is something that the market reacts to. You can see that we were trying to ride it up here. It failed, absolutely tanked, found support here at this like 30 something cent area, came back up, couldn't break. There is a clear reaction on this red line, the 50 MA on the weekly. So keep an eye on that. Funny enough, we seem to get more of a reaction from the 50 on the weekly than on the daily. But going back to the weekly, we do have some important levels to hold. First off, that 33 cents that I mentioned. The low point during this bear market, this 25 cents, I personally don't think Cardano is going to see it unless we were to break this 32 cent area. I kind of doubt it at this point in the cycle. One thing Cardano's setting up for that's very easy to see is this tightening pattern. We are tightening up. We're setting lower highs, but we're also setting higher lows. So we are getting this consolidation. Soon we are going to get a breakout. If Bitcoin goes parabolic, if Bitcoin breaks that all-time high, breaks that last cycle peak and goes to break all-time high, I think this is where Cardano breaks out. This pattern shows it probably ending somewhere towards the end of November. Maybe we get a little false breakout first. Maybe we get a little rejection and just keep trading in this pattern. Maybe it drops down out of it on the downside and then finds support at 32, then breaks out. I do think we will get some kind of interesting reaction from this pattern. This descending resistance has been a clear resistance for multiple months since April of 2024. So this is a long-term resistance. Once we break that, I think that is a big deal. We will get a reaction from it, in my opinion. Now, as of recently, we were getting a little bearish divergence on the 4-hour. You'll see the price was stuck here, and then the RSI started cooling down. That was a sign we were topping out on the short term, and we cooled down from it. Now we need to see how we do at this support level. Do we hold it up, bounce up to this top zone towards 37 cents in the near future? I do think so. And if you look at Cardano's pattern, this is a pretty clear, swingable trade right here. But in my opinion, based on the 4-year cycle, based on Bitcoin and where it's at here, I would say you want to hold Cardano, not just swing trade it, but I could always be wrong in hindsight. But let me know what you guys think about Bitcoin. How are you feeling? Do you think we're going to see that golden cross within days? Do you think we'll get a big positive reaction from it? And also, what do you think about Cardano? It was kind of the darling of last cycle. It was a bigger alt last cycle. And then basically Solana kind of came along and took its thunder, in my opinion. But I do have a very, very small bag of Cardano. I think diversification is important. And I think it is good to have some exposure to alts, especially at a time like this in the cycle. I wouldn't say go with one. I would say go with a few. That is the best way to go, in my opinion. Some will do great. Some might outperform. Some might underperform. Just being that we have so many altcoins nowadays, being that there's just so much out there. Think about how thinly they are spread. That's one thing to realize. Some alts might not see the huge runs we expect from them. And some might impress us and we'll see bigger runs than we have ever imagined in our wildest dreams. But let me know what you guys are taking advantage of at this point in the cycle. While we are getting a little late, I do think there's still great opportunities out there. Some great dip buy opportunities from the Bitcoin miners. Let me know if you guys want me to cover the recent Wolf news. And if you're still here, consider hitting the like, subscribe, ring the notification bell. I forget to say it a lot of times. I don't bother to say it a lot of times, but it does hurt my channel when I don't say it. So consider subscribing if you get some useful information out of this. Thanks as always, guys, and I'll see you next time.